looked at your kitchen and just felt stuck? Like you're missing some secret ingredient or fancy gadget that's holding you back from being a great cook? Well, today we're going to completely tear that idea down and show you a much, much simpler path. So let's get right into it. Okay, let's just tackle the biggest myth right out of the gate. So many of us believe that to make incredible food, you need a kitchen that looks like a high-end showroom. You know, the stand mixer, the air fryer, the sous vide machine. And honestly, that idea is probably the #1 thing keeping people from even trying. But what if I told you that's all just noise? The secret to truly leveling up your cooking skills has almost nothing to do with what's on your countertop. It's all about changing your mindset, your entire approach. And that is exactly what we are going to unpack. And boom, here it is. This is the absolute core of it all. We have to shift our thinking from just blindly following a set of instructions on a website to really understanding the how and the why behind what makes food taste amazing. You know, this slide really paints a picture of two totally different worlds. Over here, you've got the recipe follower. They're kind of trapped, right? If they're missing one specific herb, the whole meal feels impossible. But then you have the technique master. This person is free. They can open up the fridge, see a couple of things, and invent something delicious on the spot because they understand the principles. That's the goal. That is real freedom in the kitchen. So what are these super secret techniques? Well, they're not secret at all. They're the fundamentals you've definitely heard of. We're talking about things like sautéing to build a deep base of flavor, roasting to get that perfect crispy on the outside, tender on the inside texture, even just boiling properly. And maybe the most important of all, knowing how and when to season your food. Seriously, these 4 skills right here, they're the foundation for literally thousands of meals. Okay, but how do you actually practice all this without feeling totally overwhelmed? This is where this brilliant concept of core recipes comes in. The idea is simple. Instead of trying some new complicated thing every night, you pick a handful of simple dishes you love and you just make them a lot. And here's how you do it. First, just pick a few things you actually enjoy eating. A simple stir-fry, a basic pasta dish, a good soup. Then make them part of your regular rotation. At first you'll use the recipe, but pretty soon you'll be amazed. You won't need to look. You'll just feel when the garlic is fragrant enough or know when the sauce is right. That feeling, that's your cooking intuition being born, and you built it yourself. All right, so once you're comfortable with your core recipes, you're ready for the next level. And this is all about active learning. You can't just passively watch videos. You got to get in there and let your own taste buds be your guide. This is it, the single most important habit any cook can develop. And I don't just mean taste the final dish. I mean taste everything all the time. Is the water for your pasta salty enough? Does the soup base need something before you add the veggies? You have to know what you're working with at every single step. And then, based on what you just tasted, you do something about it. This is the moment you stop being a recipe follower and start being a cook. Maybe it needs a pinch more salt to make the flavors pop, or a squeeze of lemon to brighten it up, or maybe just a little bit of heat. You are now in the driver's seat. And what do you do next? You taste it again. This simple little loop, taste, adjust, repeat, is the fast track to training your palate. It's like having a direct conversation with your food, and it's how you really start to master flavor. Now look, when you're learning, you're going to make mistakes. It's guaranteed, and that is perfectly okay. A fantastic little trick is to keep a mistake notebook. I know it sounds a bit silly, but just jotting down what went wrong, like, say, discovering that an entire lime completely destroyed your guacamole, is an amazing way to make sure you never make that same mistake again. And here are a few more really low-risk ways to practice. Don't just watch that tutorial on YouTube. Pause it and actually cook right along with them. Or try this. Make a big batch of something neutral, like rice or beans. Then scoop some into a few small bowls and just play around with different sauces and spices. You get to experiment without the pressure of messing up a whole dinner. So, we've covered the mindset and the method. Now, let's talk about your actual kitchen. Because a smart kitchen isn't about having the most expensive stuff. It's about having the right stuff. And believe it or not, you can cook a shocking amount of food with just 2 fundamental tools. That's it. A good, sharp knife that feels great in your hand, and one solid, heavy pan, like a cast iron skillet or a stainless steel one. Start there. Seriously, only buy a new gadget when you run into a problem over and over and you know that tool will genuinely solve it. And the same exact principle applies to your pantry. It doesn't need to be overflowing. These ingredients right here, these are the heavy hitters. They're cheap, they're incredibly versatile, and they're the foundation for countless amazing meals. Trust me, learning 5 different ways to cook a potato is a bigger skill upgrade than buying a bottle of fancy truffle whale. Which brings us to what might be the biggest takeaway of all. Getting really good at cooking isn't about that one epic 4-hour lasagna you make twice a year. It's about the simple 20-minute meal you make 3 times a week. That constant practice, that consistency, is what builds real, lasting, intuitive skill. So as we wrap this up, the question really isn't if you can become a fantastic home cook. You absolutely can. The real question is, what's the first small step you're going to take? Are you going to work on getting a perfect sauté on some onions? Or maybe just focus on tasting and seasoning everything you make this week? Your journey starts with that one simple choice.